So over here, we can confidently say Ame's regular total number of days in her menstrual cycle is 28 days. Hello viewers, my current head presentation is on the topic menstrual cycle. I have already explained what menstrual cycle is all about. And in this episode, we are going to look at how ladies can track their own menstrual cycle, how they can calculate their own menstrual cycle. And I have already made it clear in my previous presentation that when asked what is the total number of days in your menstrual cycle as a lady, the answer 3 days, 4 days, 5 days is not correct. All right. The person wants to know the total number of days within which all the 4 phases or stages in your menstrual cycle occur. That is the follicular phase, the ovulation phase, the luteal phase, and when bleeding will occur. The sum of all these give us the total number of days in your menstrual cycle. So when you mention 5 days, 4 days, when someone asks you what's the number of days in your menstrual cycle, you are only talking about the number of days within which the menstrual phase occurs and ends, the start and the end of the menstrual phase of the menstrual cycle. So that is not correct if you provide such 5-6 days answer to the question, the total number of days in your menstrual cycle. All right. So if you do not know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, there is a way you can do the tracking yourself. And doing so sometimes require some level of effort. And most ladies do not want to go through that stress. So they love to rely on mobile phone application. And I have said earlier on that the use of mobile phone application to track your menstrual cycle or to estimate the phases, especially the menstrual flow and the ovulation phase of your menstrual cycle is not very good and it's not very reliable like when you do it yourself. All right. So behind me, I have a sample that I have made of a calendar, right? A calendar of 4 months. It's from September to December. So if you want to know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, where I mentioned for it to be considered normal from 22 to 35 to be considered normal, and the average one is the 28 that we all know that is often mentioned because a lot of ladies have their menstrual cycle to turn about days to be 28. So in books you often see 28 days, but for it to be the normal one, if you have your menstrual cycle total number of days lasting from 22 to 35, between 22 and 35, it is considered normal. So for you to track your own menstrual cycle, if you do not know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, we are going to look at that using the calendar behind you. So you need a calendar, the month, to do the tracking. And before we get to that, let me make it clear that the menstrual cycle does not follow the order of days in the month. All right. So that you say, oh, I have seen my menses on the first day, on 1st September. So I need to see it again on 1st October. That is not true. Or you've seen your menstrual flow in 5th November, so you want to see it again in 5th or 6th December. That is not correct. Menstrual cycle, the total number of days in the menstrual cycle does not follow the order of days on the calendar or the month. You only use the calendar in doing the estimation or the calculation. It doesn't really follow it. So somebody can see the menstrual flow twice in the same month, and it is correct, or it might be correct per the person's total number of days in the cycle. So if you do not know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, which you really need to be able to calculate or estimate when you are likely to ovulate or bleed, then follow me. All right. So we are going to use the calendar behind me to do the tracking, and kindly follow through. So here, let's assume Amma does not know the total number of days in her menstrual cycle. I have with me here a calendar of 4 months which I'm going to use to track Amma's total number of days in her menstrual cycle, which she does not know. So if you do not know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, whether it is regular or irregular, and regular menstrual cycle is one that has consistent number of days, it will be 25 days or 28 days. So Adjoa knows that every 25 days she's going to see her menses for many months. All right, that is what we call regular menstrual cycle, or A lady knows that every 30 days she's going to see her menses. She expects to see her menses every 30 days. That menstrual cycle is for regular. An irregular menstrual cycle is one that has a changing numbers, all right, for a very long time. So let's say Amma bled in a particular month, let's say this month on 25th. The next time she's going to bleed again, it will occur on the 28th day. Then the third time she's going to bleed again, it will occur on 30th, on the 30th day. Another time it will occur or maybe on the 23rd day. That is irregular menstrual cycle. An irregular menstrual cycle is one that doesn't have consistent number. The numbers keep changing. The total number of days within it keep changing. And it is not really the best. It's not really very good to have your menstrual cycle changing numbers in that kind of manner. So it's better you see the doctor to know what is going on. This is why it is very important that you do menstrual cycle, you track your own menstrual cycle, you do the estimation yourself, and you don't really have to rely on mobile phone application to do this, because the mobile phone application will not be able to put in these factors that influence these kind of changes in the lady's menstrual cycle. You do the tracking yourself using the calendar. You'll be able to notice some of these irregularities and take appropriate steps. So here, Amma does not know the total number of days in the menstrual cycle. And before she can get that, she needs to do the tracking for a number of months, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Because as I said, number of factors that influence a person's menstrual cycle. All right. So if you do the tracking on several occasions for 4, 5 months, you'll be able to see the number that is consistent. So if it is 28 days that is consistent, you'll be able to see. If it is 25 days that is consistent, you'll be able to see, so that you can pick the number that occur most as your what number of days in your menstrual cycle, which you can use to estimate. All right. So here I have with me a calendar of September to December. So Amma does not know the total number of days in her menstrual cycle, and I want to do the tracking with her. The first time Amma sees blood flow, or the first time her menses begin, she marks it on the calendar, and she first saw her menses on 2nd September, and that is marked on the calendar. She's going to bleed for some time, all right? Amma is going to bleed for some time. When the bleeding ends, she can also mark that on the calendar. So for several months, Amma is going to be free from menstrual flow. Then again, another time after several weeks, Amma again started bleeding, and menstrual flow has again started, and she saw bleeding for the first time on 30th September. So we mark the 30th September on the calendar. So here, I call it the first tracking. All right. So we are going to have the first tracking, the second tracking, the third tracking, and the fourth tracking. That is for the month of September, October, November, and December. And as I already said, menstrual flow does not follow the order of days in the month. You only use the days in the month to do the calculation, but it doesn't really follow through it. That is why I am saying the first one, we are going to have the first tracking, all right, which actually occurred in the month of September. So the first time she saw blood, she marked it. That is second. Then she's going to wait for some time, for weeks, and she saw blood flow again on the 30th. Then she marked it. So if we want to know the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle for the first tracking, we are going to count the number of days from 2nd September. That is when she first saw blood flow, and then after several weeks, she saw blood flow again. That is on the 30th. So we are going to count the number of days in the month of September from 2nd September to 30th of September. Whatever you get, that is the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle for the first tracking. So let's do the counting. The counting starts from 2nd September and ends on 30th September, because the first time she marked on the calendar when she started the tracking was on 2nd, and the first time again she started bleeding was on the 30th of September. So let's do the counting from 2nd September to 30th September. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Yes, so for Amma's tracking, the first tracking, we have 29 days. Yes, the first tracking, we had 29 days. So you note that 29 days down. All right. So that is for the first tracking. In the second tracking, the second tracking is going to begin from 30th. Well, that is the first day she saw blood again. All right. So she's going to bleed for some time. And then you mark when the bleeding ended. And here the bleeding ended on the 5th of October. So she's going to be free from blood flow. She's going to be free for several weeks. The next time again Amma sees blood flow, Amma is going to mark that date on the calendar. And the next time she saw blood flow again, apart from the 30th September, which she first saw Emma, the next time she's going to see blood flow again was on the 27th of October. So she marked 27th of October on the calendar, 27th of October. So for you to know the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle for the second tracking, you are going to count the number of days from 30th September to 27th of what, October. Whatever you get, that is the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle for the second tracking. So let's do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So for the second tracking, the total number of days is what, 28 days. The first tracking we had 29 days. The second tracking we had what, 28 days. Please, I hope you are following me. So you can use any other month that you are in to do the tracking. This is just a sample that I am using. All right. So for the second tracking, we had 28 days. So we can't use that one we can't use any of them as Amma's normal total number of days. So we have to continue the tracking. So this 27 day is the beginning of another menstrual flow. All right. It's the beginning of another flow. So she marks this 27. So she's going to bleed for some time. She bled and then the bleeding ended on the 31st of October. She's going to be free for several weeks. All right. The next time, again, the third time that Amma sees blood flow for the first time, she's going to mark it on the calendar. And that is what? On the 23rd of November. The third time she's going to see blood flow again is on the 23rd of November. So if we want to know the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle for the third time, we are going to count a number of days from 27th October to what, 23rd what, November, and that will give us the total number of days in Amma's menstrual tracking for the third time. So let's do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So the third tracking from 27th October to 23rd October, we are having what, 28 days. That is the third tracking. So the first tracking, we had 29 days. The second tracking, we started from 30th to 27th October, we had 28 days. And for the third tracking, we started from 27th October to 23rd what, November, we had another 28 days. So we see we are getting a consistent number. All right, we have 28 days on 2 occasions. So let's do it one last more. So the first day, again, so this 23rd November become the first day Amma saw a menstrual flow. That is the first, which is marked already. That is 23rd November. So she's going to bleed for some time, and then the bleeding is going to stop on a certain number of days, on a certain number on the calendar, for a certain number of days. And the bleeding bled from 23rd, and the bleeding ended on 27th. So Amma, cycle or mark the 27th November. She's going to be free again for several months. For several weeks. And she's going to begin her menses again. The first day she again sees blood flow, Amma is going to mark it on the calendar. And that is what? On December, 20th December. All right, 20th December. So if we want to know the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle for the fourth tracking, you count the number of days from 23rd November to 20th December. All right, so let's do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. So the fourth tracking, we have 28 days. So here we have 328 days. For 4 months that Amma did her tracking, 28 days appeared 3 times, all right? And 29 days appeared what? Only once. So over here, we can confidently say Amma's regular total number of days in her menstrual cycle is 28 days. Yes. So if you do not know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, this is how you go about it. And these 28 days for Amma's tracking, she will be able to estimate when she's likely to get pregnant and when she's likely to see her blood flow and prepare towards it. So this is all that you need to do the estimation for these two phases in the menstrual cycle, the total number of days in your menstrual cycle. So for me, if you are a lady and I know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle and it is consistent, if I know the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, I will be able to know when you are likely to ovulate, and I'll be able to tell when you are likely to see your menstrual flow. So this topic, as I said earlier, should not be left to only ladies. So if you are a guy or a man and you want to be involved in the planning of pregnancy with your lady, or you do not want a lady to, get you entangled in pregnancy or trap you with pregnancy, please get knowledge on menstrual cycle and do the tracking yourself. Just know the total number of days in your lady's menstrual cycle, and you'll be able to tell when she's likely to ovulate, so that you will avoid having unprotected sex with her. All right. So it is a topic that men should also be interested in. If you are married, be interested in this so that you can help your woman to have a better reproductive health. So with knowing the total number of days in Amma's menstrual cycle, let us go back to the calendar to estimate when Amma is likely to ovulate and when Amma is likely to menstruate, which we have already looked at. Amma's menstrual cycle that we have tracked over 4 months is consistent. The number of days is consistent, so it is regular. So we can use that 28 days to estimate when Amma is likely to ovulate, when Amma is likely to see her menses. The other phase is when follicular phase, the production of female egg is expected to take place, and when operation in the womb, that is the luteal phase, likely to occur. These two phases, follicular phase and luteal phase, are not known by many people, and we don't really care about them because it's not something that we realize or we see. All right, but they are very powerful, to give us the overall feature of menstrual cycle. So back to the calendar. Please get this one. Scientists have determined that ovulation occurs in the middle of the menstrual cycle, total number of days in the menstrual cycle. Scientists have determined that ovulation, or the female egg, is released. The mature female egg is released in the middle of the total number of days in the menstrual cycle. All right. So the first tracking was from 2nd September to 30th of September. We had 29 days. So the middle of 29 days, 29 is not an even number. And so we are going to have two figures which we can use as the middle. You strike a difference, all right? So the estimation is an estimation. It is not 100%. Things can change along the line to make a person's menstrual cycle to also change, all right? But scientists have discovered that ovulation, the release of a mature female egg, or when a female is likely to get pregnant when she engages in unprotected sex, it occurs in the middle of the menstrual cycle. So the first one was 29 days, from 2nd September to 30th day. So the middle of 2nd September and 30th September, when you do the counting, falls on 4, 15, and 16. Let's do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right, 14 and 15. So for Amma, the first tracking, Amma is likely to ovulate on 15th on 16th of September. That is when Amma is likely to ovulate. And let me use this opportunity to add that ovulation actually comes with certain signs and symptoms. All right, there are certain signs and symptoms associated with ovulation. When a mature female egg is released, comes with certain signs and symptoms, and that is how ladies get to know. There are some ladies, they experience severe lower abdominal pain. Some ladies also experience strong sexual edge. All right, so if you are a lady and at a certain time in a man, you have strong desire for sex, it is normal. It really means that when you are ovulating or mature female egg is about to release or is released. All right, that is what it means. So if you are a young lady and you have such kind of egg, there's nothing wrong with you. It really shows that you are ready to give birth. So if you engage in unprotected sex around that time, you are likely to get pregnant. There is another sign associated with ovulation period or time is that there is secretion, there's vaginal secretion, and this secretion is not like any other secretion, which can be associated to infection or maybe a sexual infection. When ladies are sexually enticed, they actually produce certain secretion come out of the vagina. All right, but this type of secretion relating to ovulation is very clear and sticky. All right, the secretion relating to ovulation, the release of female egg where the lady is likely to get pregnant, the characteristics is that it is elastic and it is very clear. It is elastic and it is very clear. The fluid that comes out, it is very clear. It is not yellow. It has no color. All right. So that is how you tell if the secretion that you are seeing is actually associated with ovulation or is associated with infection, or if it is sexual enticement, it's associated with sexual enticement. So it's so clear and elastic that when you pick it in your hand, you can actually stretch the fluid in your hand in between your fingers and it will stay. You can actually pick it and it will stretch in between your fingers. That fluid is what? Relating to what? Ovulation. So these are the basic signs and symptoms associated with the ovulation phase. There is high libido, libido goes up. There's high drive to engage in sex, right? I'm experiencing severe abdominal pain. Yeah. So let me get back to it. And ovulation lasts for only 24 hours. Ovulation lasts for only a day. All right. The female egg stays and is viable for only 24 hours. Only a day, 24 hours. The bleeding phase can last for 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, some 3 days, up to 7 days to be considered normal. If you bleed more than 7 days, then you need to see a doctor because it is not normal, all right? Or you bleed less than 2 days, all right? It is not considered normal, all right? You need to go and see a specialist to know what is going on. Okay, so for the first tracking, Amma is likely to ovulate on the 15th or 16th, all right? And then her menstrual flow, as we have calculated, is on the 30th. So in terms of pregnancy, when Amma engages in sex on the 15th or 16th, there is a high chance that she will get pregnant. But scientists have also discovered that the sperm, right, from male sperm can stay viable for 4 to 5 days, all right? Sperm can stay in a lady for 4 to 5 days. So that means that if a lady engages in sex, unprotected sex, and a man would get sperm in her 4 or 5 days to the ovulation phase or days, she is still likely to get pregnant. So let's count 4 days from the 15th or 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if the lady you do not want, Amma does not want to get pregnant, she should not engage in unprotected sex from 10th September to 15th September or 16th September and 17th or 17th September to be on the safer side. So that is how you can do manual family planning. So this is a method of family planning. All right, sperm can stay viable in a lady when it is released for 4 to 5 days. All right, so if Amma knows very well that she's likely to ovulate on the 15th or 16th, she should avoid having sex 5 days or 4 days to the day she's likely to ovulate. So this is what I'm saying, that this should be a topic that should concern guys. Yeah? All right. So if you are a guy, you do not want your lady to be pregnant. If you know her menstrual cycle, you'll be able to tell when she's likely to get pregnant when you engage in sex with her. All right. So you shouldn't have sex 5 days or 4 days before the middle of the menstrual cycle, which is the ovulation day. So you should not have sex from 10th, unprotected sex from 10th to 15th, 16th, or 17th to be on the safer side. That is the so after 24 hours after 16 September or 17 September or safer or 18 September, she's going to be free. She can engage in sex unprotected and she will never get pregnant till she see her menses again on the 30th. All right. So for the second tracking, which was 28 days, if you want to know when Amma is likely to ovulate, you count the number of days from when she started bleeding to the middle of the 28 days. The middle of 28 days is 14 days. So that means that Amma is likely to ovulate on the 14 days. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The 14th day in the second tracking falls on October 13th. So it means that Amma is highly fertile on the 13th of October. And if she engages in sex, as I said earlier, 4 days or 5 days to leading to the 13th of October, she's likely to get pregnant. All right. So if Amma does not want to get pregnant on the 13th of October, from 9th October to 13th or 14th or even 15th October, you should not engage in any unprotected sex. All right. So this is basically how you can use this one to do family planning. All right. So this is something that concerns both guys. I personally, it will be very difficult for my girlfriend to get pregnant without my notice. Because the first thing I would like to know is to know her menstrual cycle, to know the total number of days in the menstrual cycle. I'll be able to, if it is regular, I will be able to track. I will be able to track when she is likely to ovulate. So if you are a guy, kindly note this. So if there is any change, if you are using application all the time, it will not be able to let you know. But if you do the tracking yourself, you will be able to see if there is changes. So that is for the second tracking. For the third tracking, Amma is going to be free from maybe 18 up to 27. When bleeding will start, she can engage in sex without any pregnancy. So for the third tracking, Amma is bled for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Bleeding was 5 days. So for us to know when Amma is likely to ovulate, you count the number from 27th October to the middle of the total number of days in the third tracking, which is 28, another 28 days. So the middle of 28 days is 14 days. So let's do the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Sorry, 14 days. Half of 28 days. Let's go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So the 14th day for the third tracking, in the middle of the third tracking fall on November 9th. So it means that Amma is likely to ovulate on November 9th, all right? So if she doesn't want to get pregnant, 4 or 5 days to 9th November, she shouldn't engage in unprotected sex. If she wants to get pregnant, the best chances of she getting pregnant is on the 9th. From 6th November to 9th and also 10th. Ovulation lasts for only 24 hours. So after, let's say, 11th November, she's going to be free period. She can engage in unprotected sex. She'll never get pregnant till she sees her bleeding again, which is on 23rd of November. So for the fourth tracking, when Amma is likely to ovulate, you count the third tracking had 28 days. The middle of the 28 days is what? 14, another 14, all right? So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So for the fourth tracking, Amma is likely to ovulate on the 6th of December. So if she wants to get pregnant, she can engage in sex on the 6th from 3rd December to 6th or even 7th. If she doesn't want to, she should avoid unprotected sex from 1st December to 6th December or even 7th December, all right? So this is about how to do tracking of menstrual cycle. A lot of ladies are always concerned about menstruation and ovulation. But menstrual cycle offer more information about the reproductive system of a lady than the usual when you are likely to get pregnant and when you are likely to see your menses. There are a lot of ladies who have suffered serious gynecological health problems that they shouldn't be suffering. Their menstrual cycle gave clue, some of them menstrual cycle gave them clue. It was irregular. They don't see their menses, their menstruation. Their menstrual cycle was giving all the sign that there is something going on in the reproductive system. Those who pay attention to their menstrual cycle and monitor it themselves, they see these changes and they take steps, all right? There are a number of factors, as I said, that can influence a person's menstrual cycle. When a person is stressed, it can influence the cycle. When ladies the stress can be emotional or physical stress, all right, can alter, there are certain diseases, all right, that can alter a person's menstrual cycle. There are a lot of gynecological diseases that can alter a person's menstrual cycle, cervical cancer, and a number of them, they can actually alter a lady's menstrual cycle. So this is why it is very important that you pay more attention to your menstrual cycle and not limit it to only when you are likely to bleed and when you are likely to get pregnant. So that when somebody asks you what is the number of days in your menstrual cycle, what is your menstrual cycle, you tell the person 4 days, 5 days, or 2 days, or 3 days. No. The person is asking you what is the total number of days in your menstrual cycle, which is supposed to be from 22 up to 34 or 32 days to be considered normal. So if your menstrual cycle is lasting for 35 days, 36 days, you need to probe to know further why it is happening. As I have already said, there are a number of conditions that can cause a person, to have extremely, some people will not see their menses in months, 3 months, they haven't seen their menses. They don't experience anything like menstrual flu. Please do not be happy because you are escaping the discomfort associated with menstrual flu. Kindly see the doctor to know why your menstrual cycle is irregular or it is not really occurring. If you are not seeing your menses, your menstrual flu, it means that all the cycles are not happening. The egg is not being produced. If it is not being produced, it will not be released. You will not ovulate. If you are not ovulating, there will not be pressure in the womb if you are pregnant, for you to be implanted and to survive in the womb. All right, then bleeding will not occur. So bleeding is actually the last part of the menstrual cycle. When all the other changes occur, the end of it is what? The bleeding or the menstrual phase. So this is actually what I mean when I say there's more to menstrual cycle. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any question, kindly get to the comment section and ask or DM, and I will be able to answer. The one that I cannot, I will refer you to the appropriate cortex to get you sorted out. All right. Thank you very much once more for your precious time. Share the video with your loved one. If you are a mother watching this, share this video with your teenager, all right? So that she will not go and be learning about menstrual cycle from friends, where they will tell her, um, if you have menstrual, pain, all right, you have sex and the pain will go. That is not true. It's a wrong perception. So menstrual phase of the menstrual cycle also come with certain signs and symptoms, all right? A lot of ladies end up in the hospital because they experience severe abdominal pain and even migraine, all right? So these are some of the problems associated with menstrual cycles. So if you are that type of person, then you need to, um, you know, carefully look at what you can do to mitigate some of these signs and symptoms. Sometimes there are certain things that make some of the signs to become so serious, like bleeding. Some people bleed more than they should. So if you are menstruating and you are bleeding more than you expect to bleed, there could be a problem. You need to go and see the doctor, all right? You change pads severally, you can go frequently, more than you are supposed to. Kindly go and see the doctor. If you experience so much pain because you are menstruating, it is not a sign that you are starving of sex. Go and see the doctor. You will have the sex and your menstrual pain will not go.
Thank you.
Subscribe and follow us.